Hello, Cancer. This is your reading for the week of January 13th, or when you hear it and it resonates. Won't be for all, of course. And this is a new format where I'm doing all the water signs in one video. It's an experiment. Cancers, you're the first. So here we go. The expression that I heard, excuse me, as I was getting ready to do your reading was, "Here's your hat. What's your hurry?" And it's an old expression, kind of a comical way, basically, of it's the kind of thing I heard when I was a kid. It's this kind of social etiquette of, I'd really like you to go. But instead, what I'll do is I'll say, and I'll show you out, but instead I'll go, "Oh no, what's your hurry?" But secretly, I really want you to go. Okay? And that's really what I'm feeling with this, Cancer, is that it feels to me when I'm looking at the energy of this, and it's going into a picture for me, is that sense of sometimes you keep people in your space that you don't necessarily want. They're not really congruent with who you are and how you think. They're not necessarily enlivening your life, but you don't necessarily get rid of them because you're afraid that if you do, you'll be alone, that you won't have anybody, you won't have any community. And what Spirit is saying is have faith, risk success, and realize that you have the power to create your day the way you want it to be. So what I feel very much for you, Cancer, is this. You have been wanting for a long, long time to find, oh gosh, a soft place to land where you really feel seen, where you really feel secure with the emotions and the personalities of the people around you. It feels to me, dropped something, it feels to me as though this is the next step for you to be able to experience love in this new way that we've been talking about for a long time. And excuse me, what they're saying is engage in life and have faith. So look at it like this. It would be the equivalent of saying, okay, I don't know if I'm going to find a good new mechanic, and I'm afraid of going to that other garage. So I'll stick with my mechanic, even though I'm not so sure they're always really on top of things. But I don't want to be without one, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to put up with it and I'll go along with it, right? Of course, this can happen at work, it can happen at home, in love relationships, it doesn't really matter. Cancer, it's fundamentally about you being able to realize that you really are. This is so important, and this is what's really coming through for all the signs right now, is that this is not just about the detail of how you handle that one thing. What it is you taking a chance on acting in life in the way you wish it to be. I'm going to speak that a little bit more articulately. It means you being able to live life from this perspective of expectation of positive, okay? Of not going into everything with that fear that it won't work or it won't be enough or you can't take a chance. This is about you now being able to take a chance on finding the right community. And whether it's geographical or whether it's through the internet, it's about finding the kind of coherence and compatibility with other people at a much, much deeper level. It goes way beyond, do you like me, will you be my friend? And it goes into the idea of you are now able, because you have this new vision of love, you don't need to fear, you can have faith, okay? You don't need to fear whether or not it's going to work out for you. You can start acting as though. Because what this is about is you learning to lean into the power of manifestation and understanding it at a really profound level, and asking for the manifestation to come in the form of people who are aligned with you, with your inner values, and are in the process also of exploring theirs and wanting theirs to be a part of whatever community is going on. Now, the other card that comes up is humility, and that is basically saying there's more at work than just you, Cancers. Whatever you think you have to do to make yourself safe or have community or whatever else, there is a higher power that is working for you. There is your higher conscious mind. And all of this is about you getting more in touch and operating more and integrating more the higher conscious energy in your life so that you can really see the effect of this. So have the faith, look at how you want your life to be. What does it now, and be your own hero in it. What do you want your life to be? Let yourself imagine that. And then start having some trust in the process of learning how to manifest that. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to put you on pause, and then we'll be doing the next sign. Take care. So, Scorpio, you're next. And this is what I get for you. What I was seeing as I was working with your energy was this. You over this beautiful map, and it looks like an ancient map. And you've got the compass, and you've got all of your slide rule and all of the mathematical, geometrical instruments you would need to plot your course. And it's a world map. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is you can give up trying to figure things out with the tools that you have currently been using. Scorpio, that you have access to higher guidance than perhaps you have allowed yourself to really take advantage of. And I mean that in a good way. Now, what they're showing me is instead of you looking down at this map, now you're not looking down, right? You're looking like this. So it's your head still up. But instead of looking at this table and chair map, you're being asked to look to the heavens. And when I say that, when I say look to the heavens, I do see star clusters and different things that we associate with astrology signs, planets, stars, all of that stuff. But it goes way beyond that, Scorpio. It goes way, way beyond that. And what I feel you've got here is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. I'm just going to, okay, so you've got the grace card that comes up first as the contemplation card. So whoever of you are still in a process of sorting new things out or sorting out the old things in order to move on with new things, changing structures, really, specifically, changing structures, is you've got the grace card. And the grace card says grace is not earned. Grace is a state in which we receive, for no apparent reason, a divine influence which strengthens us in a way that eases whatever problematic or miserable state we find ourselves. Grace needs only to be accepted in order to be received. That tells me, my loves, that some of you are still struggling with earthly life. I'll call it mundane, but like table and chair reality stuff. That still might be a bit of an issue for you. What do I mean when I say table and chair reality? I mean personality-driven life. That's really what I mean, as opposed to a spiritual life. Now, what you're also getting, however, is, I love it, you get the grace card, which is talking about, divine influence strengthening you and easing whatever problematic situation. Then you've got, why not? Who says so? And then you've got take God with you. Okay, so if I just stick with just those three cards, what I really feel like this is saying to you is, that's more than the three cards. What that's saying to you is this, that you have access to higher wisdom. You've often had it, and because you can have a very mechanical way of thinking of things, you tend to assume that that was your mind having done it, when in fact, It was spirit and a higher conscious mind giving you information from the unified field in order for you to be like slipping it into your brain, in order for you to be able to know the right question to ask, in order to find the right answer. And for some reason, that's really important. It's knowing the right question to ask. That's all what they're saying. That's what you need to do. Define whatever your question is and then give it to the heavens. Give it to the heavens and expect a response, because you have got this really strong suggestion here that you can start leaning into divine presence and divine guidance in your life in a way that is almost as concrete as looking at a map on a table. If you can imagine that you can find as much guidance through closing your eyes and addressing the universe, asking the questions that you need to ask, and then trusting the answers are going to come to you. Some of you may find that the answers come to you like that. And some of you may find that they're going to come to you through writing. Others of you will find that it comes to you through a book you pick off the shelf, or a video that shows up on your feed that you hadn't expected, or it's not connected to anybody listening in on your computer. But I digress. So this is, Scorpio, your call to challenge anything that stops you from believing that you are a divine creature, that divine love is on your side, and that you have got your guides and your team waiting to work with you, and they are there. Of course, this will not be for every Scorpio, but a lot of you, I'm sure, are really resonating with this. Now, when you start feeling heavy and hopeless, stuck, like things aren't going to change, please remember, check in with God. Check in with the divine. Be aware of checking in with the divine, because checking in with the divine is going to help you drop the stress of waiting and wondering and whatever change is coming up. Taking God with you means literally every day check in and acknowledge that there is divine presence, divine help, multi-dimensional life, spiritual guidance, however you want to say it. Okay? It is there for you, my dears. It is there. Okay, Scorpio, is there anything else they would like to say to you? Drop the weight. Drop the weight of stress. That's important here as a part of this, is that if you are experiencing stress and that is perhaps leading to a sense of being stuck or hopeless, you're being told the map is already there. You don't need to figure the map out. The map is already there. It's just a matter of you settling and leaning into that divine grace and letting the answer show up for you, okay? Sooner probably than you imagine. I'm seeing a time frame, but because it's for a collective, I hesitate to do that, so I won't. I'm going to leave you with that, Scorpio. Take care. Are we on? Pisces, it's your turn. All right, so as I was working with the cards and getting a feel for your energy, I felt a real softening. I felt almost as though I was being told it was time for me to take a deep breath and reorient myself, reorient the way I'm looking at either something specific in my life or my life in general. It could be either. Of course, because this won't be for every Pisces, right? But the first card that you get is responsibility. And the responsibility card is actually asking you, it makes sense with what I was feeling, because the responsibility card is asking you to stand back and look at your life and say, where have my choices, you get the choice card too, where have my choices come to feel like a burden? Where have my choices around responsibility come to feel like a burden to me? And is it a burden? Are they burdens? Are these choices? Or is this situation really a burden to me? Or is it simply the way I'm looking at it? if I look at it and say, you know what, I have the ability to respond to this situation differently, how does it feel when you realize that it is your choice? Part of this is your choice. It's how you see it, and that you can choose to take a different perspective. Okay, so what if I look at the responsibility to take care of my friend's dog for the day, and it feels like a burden? But what if instead, if I look at it and I say, okay, I decided to take on the responsibility to walk the dog, and right now it feels like it's too much, but how can I respond to my choice differently? I can respond to my choice differently by saying, I'm going to turn this into play instead of a job I have to do for this person. I'm going to look at this as potential for play in my life. Okay, that's just one example. But if you look at it, you can look at it in different ways around different situations. It can even be, haha, thank you. It can even be doing something. Oh, and this came to me earlier for you. Okay. It can be responsibility, can feel like a burden when you are looking at a work that you do, a job that you do that has become kind of habitual. You know, it's you just do it, whatever. But you forget to enjoy doing it. You forget to allow yourself to feel good things while you're doing it. So, for example, if you are a crocheter or a knitter, you might sit down to knit, and it's like, okay, well, it doesn't really feel a burden, and it's a responsibility. Well, is it really a responsibility? Or is it something that you like to do? Well, maybe it's starting to feel like a responsibility, a burden, because your attitude is not allowing you to say, ooh, I'm going to play with those colors, and oh, I'm going to learn this new pattern, and gosh, I love the feel of that wool. Now, all of a sudden, shifting your attitude into more of a playful, wondering attitude as opposed to, I got to get this Afghan done, or whatever it is you're making. Then now all of a sudden your experience is completely different. So what you're being told is, in all areas of your life where you are feeling like something is a burden for you, where it has become an obligation or a necessity, has it become that just because you have forgotten to actually enjoy what you originally enjoyed about it? That it's become habit, so you have stopped being amazed by this aspect of it or that aspect, or what it feels like to actually center that clay on the ceramic wheel, like oof, dead center, perfect. The first time, it's like, oh, yeah, that's what you got to get back to. The enjoyment of the moment, so that whatever you are doing that feels like a burden, a necessity, an obligation, can now be something that fuels you. And so often it's just a change of mind. So you are being asked, please, Pisces, check in with what you are choosing to do and why you're choosing to do it, and check in with the attitude that you are choosing to have. This is all about choice and how that affects responsibility and your experience of it. Okay? I'm going to leave you with that, my dears, and I hope this is helpful. Take care.